In this video, we're going to show you what the difference between the MC and the MCT is from Veto. Now, this is the blackout edition, so it's got the V swap panels. Let's get into it. Now, the last time we did what's in my Veto, we basically just pulled things out of it very quickly. Didn't really talk about the tools that much. And a lot of stuff, everything's just kind of scattered. It didn't really fit in the Veto. So we're going to show you what fits in this thing, and everything zips up. There's really nothing on the outside of this tool bag. Tape measure is going to go on your pocket, on your person, and scratch tool or whatever can go in your vest, pencils, things like that. So this is for construction in mind. This is for an unsecured job site. You've got random kind of strangers running around. You don't know everybody and you don't trust everybody. We're actually going to start with the hand tool side first. The other side kind of has 1,000 volt and diagnostic tools. In here, first off, I've got a EDC 25. I picked it up for $25 on Amazon. It was like $30, $40 off. Sorry, it's the EDC 23. And this one has the locking feature, so we can throw this down like this. This makes it unlocked. And it has a digital readout that tells you how much time it has as it cycles through its life on the turbo mode, and then as we scroll through the brightness, it actually tells you how long the battery is going to last based on the actual lumen output. Pretty cool flashlight from Nightcore. And then I really like the lock feature there. Stops when people to turn on. So when you naturally slide it in your pocket, this flips up and locks the flashlight. Pretty cool. So really useful for whenever it's dark, just to find your tools and things like that, or a quick spotlight, or just, hey, if you want to have 15 lumens for 40 hours. Yeah, very useful. Also in the flap, while we have the flashlight out, this is where I keep the recip blades, things like this that are disposable. The best way to keep somebody from borrowing your recip saw on the job site, especially in construction, is to not leave the blades with the saw. If you've got a bag and the blades are with the saw, or if you leave your blades in your saw, you're going to increase the chance of somebody borrowing that tool. That's just the way it is. If you both are running conduit and your recip is within arm's reach, believe me, that dude is going to grab your recip and he's going to use it. That's just something that happens. Personally, I never grab someone else's tool without asking, but you're going to find that a lot of people will help themselves to whatever is yours. So if you're enabling them, they're going to get away with whatever they can, basically. Now, we've got a stud ball here, and this is basically our stud finder. I used a form of this many years ago before the stud ball exists. I should have patented this myself. But I used the Magnapol magnet to find studs for commercial, to put minis, to save a lot of time on toggle bolts, tornadoes, whatever. I would just zip it through the stud once we were above the lay-in ceiling. So I know what you're thinking. Above the ceiling, nobody sheetrocks all the way up. If you go to a quality job site, that sheetrock does go all the way up, and it gets taped, and it gets bedded, and you can't tell where the studs are without a stud finder. So if you are in a quality job site, a reputable contractor, general contractor nationwide, jobs get done properly, and what seems so obvious for your small jobs is not obvious on larger jobs. They do a proper job above the ceiling versus smaller mom and pop shops. Especially existing buildings. Existing buildings seem to have better quality nowadays than newer buildings being built. So just the way it is. The magnet being here helps the hammer stay in place. Pretty strong magnet. Actually, if you want to see how strong this magnet is, here we are picking up this hammer. Now, everybody asks me about this hammer. I don't like to talk about it because it's a $50 hammer. But the reason why I like it is probably why you guys like it, so we will tell you about it. It's a Weehaw hammer. It is very tiny. It fits beautifully in this bag. And as you can see from the previous, or the footage after this, I'm going to show the Veto MC. This is the MCT. We're going to show you the difference. You're going to notice that this hammer would not fit in that bag, and this is a very compact hammer. So the MC, the top wall comes to about here, and this hammer sits right about there. So I'll get you the official measurement, and then that way you guys will know, because this might be your deciding factor if you're going to spend the extra $60 or not. Cut 11 1/4 to be safe, to be able to slide it up and down. You need at least 11 1/4 inch to comfortably get this hammer in and out of your tool bag. Pretty compact, beautiful D face. I like a D face on my hammers. You can get flat right up against walls, and it's got some nice claws on it. The back of it is advertised to be knocking in those plastic wall anchors, so you're not damaging your finished sheetrock surfaces. Seems kind of gimmicky, but it could be a real thing. I have yet to try it. Seemed gimmicky, so that's what they advertise it for. So it can probably do it. It's a Weehaw. $60. I'm gonna leave all the links below. You have been warned. Nice hammer though. Good feel. Flares out here. Nice grab on it. Flares out here for your pinky, so you got some good grip on it. Not as good as a framing hammer, but still very comfortable. Thick down here, thin down here. Nice contour on it. Really, really nice, comfortable hammer. Noticeable grip there. All in all, really, really like this hammer. This came up in a live. We brought this out. It is pretty big. It did not make this tool list because of the next thing I'm about to pull out of the bag. But I mentioned to somebody about using an SCS drill, driver, rotary hammer, whatever you want to call it, and only putting it in hammer mode to tighten lock rings. And that's absolutely true. So that's something I've done in the past. You can loosen them, you can tighten them. Saves you a lot of headache trying to re-index and get back on that lock ring when you're tapping with your beating screwdriver, whatever you're doing. You just squeeze the trigger, get back on that lock ring, squeeze the trigger, and let the rotary hammer do the job. The Milwaukee M12s don't have hammer only, which is one reason why I do like the DeWalt. The 12 volt, that is. All right, so as we mentioned, we've got our beater, screwdriver, reamer combo. Everybody asks me, where do you get this setup? This is a separate setup that not I invented, but I'm going to take credit for it on YouTube because I'm the only one bringing you guys old school cool stuff. So basically, this is the 19352. 19352, and it's a separate conduit reamer. Take an Allen wrench, tighten this side evenly to center it, and then you wind up with a nice reamer and a beater screwdriver and a quality tip and really nice flared area for beating as opposed to the standard beating screwdriver. Now, what is the standard beating screwdriver? Of course, this $10 screwdriver that'll last you for exactly 3 years. The lifespan of this. Beating on it for 3 years straight. Heavy duty abuse. Rounding over the edge of this. You're going to get at least 3 years of use on a screwdriver like this. These are still excellent beater screwdrivers. It's what I recommend. They are hexed. If you want to do the reamer combo like I did, you got to get a hexed shaft. So you get the round shaft, you can't do the reamer combo. But the Klein tips are definitely tactics approved for beating, okay? And the backs will last a very long time. They don't break. Even after 3 years, they don't break. This rounds over into almost nothing, and this just turns pretty much foggy and unrecognizable, but it's definitely a beater. This starts breaking off. You start getting little chunks of plastic, but you can still beat on these. They are very good. One of the best value screwdrivers out there on the market. The Klein screwdrivers like this are still the best value on the market, if you ask me. Next up is the Insulated multi. This thing is so quick to change the bits out. You only need this one screwdriver. You can even do it one-handed if you're really good. If you got one hand that is, you know, completely holding a wire still, or you're ready to terminate a breaker and you realize, oh crap, I need to change the size of my screwdriver tip, you can completely do this basically one-handed. And if you set your tool pouch up just right, you can swap these out hot swap style like this. Let me show you. This is what I do with my Veto personally. I have a couple of these sticking out of here. Maybe it's this pouch. I think it's this pouch. Yeah, it's this pouch. You go here, jam it on there, take it with you, switch it out. You don't want this one. Drop it out one hand, grab the next one that you want, grab it on there, and finish the job there. The more you have in there, the more stiff it gets, obviously. As we pull tools out, we're going to load this pouch too. So also bonus on how to load your Veto for the ultimate loadout. This is experience from a commercial construction electrician that's specialized in infrared, but really a lot of commercial construction and a lot of industrial construction. So I've got a wide range of tools in here that's useful for a lot of situations. Next up, let's get these out of the way. These are beautiful. Didn't need them. Really wanted them. This is really what I recommend. These have the fish tape puller because it's actually a flat right there. Milwaukee is labeling things as fish tape pullers. Like this area here, it's not a fish tape puller. That's a teeth remover 5000 if you're pulling a fish tape with this portion of your pliers. If you're pulling towards you, you're going to knock your teeth out. You got to get the fish tape in the groove it's designed for and pull down. Fish tape puller, crimper, Klein 2000s, Journeyman series. It's the way to go. These are just, man, they are freaking beautiful. Couldn't resist them. CES, which is City Electric Supply. And good luck finding them. I've seen them on eBay for $110. That's crazy. I got them for, well, I think I got them for 60 or 70, so I didn't do good either. But it's a more of a want than a need, and yeah, man, they are pretty. Would I take them on the job site? If I was in the field and not electrical inspector, yeah, but I'm keeping these on the channel for beauty, just clout. I don't keep very many things for clout, but that's one of them. So this is a necessary tool in my book, must have. So it's going to go in this Veto along with the Journeyman series pliers. And you know, I think I'm going to actually do a proper loadout here. I'm going to bring you guys closer. Next up, diagonal cutters. These have more leverage than the Weehaw. They might not be as sharp, but they stay sharp longer. They're angled for leverage, so you can pry staples and things like that. The leverage, you do lose a little bit of leverage with the angle. With the angle here, you lose a little bit of leverage. I'm not going to lie. But with the angle, it's way better. Definitely get the angled pliers if you're going to spend like the money on these. These things are like 40, 50 bucks. They should last you a lifetime if they don't get stolen. That's the way it is in construction. They go right behind the Kleins there. The HVAC in one, I like this because it has slide drive, so it switches between 1/4 inch and 5/16 just with a push, and then you can lock it where you want it. Why this is useful? 5/16 is the size for bonding screws in metal boxes. So this is really useful, really quick, easy way to get screws into your metal boxes. You're not fighting a Phillips, it's inevitably going to fall. And then you've got your kind of 10-in-1 features. I took apart a HD heavy duty 10-in-1, and also I took apart a specialized kind of Klein. Can't even remember what it was. But basically, I've got the best of both worlds. I've got a true bit holder with magnetic retention. I've got a flat on this side, and then I've got the #1 square and the #2 square on this side. 1/4 inch, I can actually chuck this in my drill because it is HD. And then I've got a 3/8 here. The 9-in-1s and 11-1s have 3/8. And yeah, this is the best of both worlds. Minimal pieces that you're taking apart. You look at this, I'm not leaving any pieces in my pocket. I've got all my pieces that I want on this screwdriver at all times. I don't have to flip this around, pull bits out, and hold on to them while I'm using the tool. Everything is on one screwdriver. That's what makes this okay in my book. I'm not a fan of flipping tools around and switching to different bits and stuff. It's just a waste of time. It's asking you to lose pieces, and they're wanting you to buy more crap. I'm not falling for that BS. This is what I recommend doing. Not a must tool. Luxury stays in there. Actually, goes over here. Now, depending on what you're doing, industrial, whatever you're doing, running conduit, This is a pretty must tool. The 7/16 is a must when you're running minis. It's that simple. This does it all though. This does 7/16, 9/16, 1/2 inch, and we've actually got magnetic retention built in, and it's hollow so the bolt can slide through while the nut stays back. This is a W tool in my book. It's lighter, like way lighter than the previous one because it's hollow, and it's definitely a must. Doesn't necessarily have to go in here. We'll put it off to the side. Maybe we'll put it in there. We'll see. This is all of our precision bits right here with the security feature. It's hollow. We've got the precision aspect of it where this spins freely. They're all in here. You can't lose them. They flip around. It can get a little bit bulkier. There's better out there, but for me and what I do, this is just fine. It's a 27-1 tamper. Works great. If you have kids, I really do recommend the multi-style of the Kleins because you got all the bits, the larger tamper-proof one, this one. Anything that has multiple bits like this that you can actually keep all the bits on board storage are a W for homeowners because you're more likely to have the bits when you need them on the tool that you're about to use when you need it. Really convenient for people like me in a tool bag like this. Now up here, this is something I like to see as an electrical inspector. I get happy when I see ground bars in panels for bonding. So, or not panels, but boxes, enclosures, junction boxes, things like that. I get happy when I see ground bars in those enclosures. They'll mount one of those. It's for a panel, but they will tap because this self-taps, cuts the hole, threads it, and then you can screw a machine style bolt into the hole you just made, and it is suitable for grounding and bonding. That's the tool to use. Comes in a 4-pack set, and mine just stay up here. So I got the 2 common sizes, and this is a Malco flip bit, pretty common. Kind of an emergency use, quick grab. I leave it up there. Here we've got some kind of vice grip needle nose from Klein. Had the Milwaukees before, decided to try these. We'll see how they hold up. Seem to be okay so far. They grab all thread for me pretty nicely while I'm working on racks, and then it gives me a hand that's, you know, just free. If you're working on all thread, clamp this, it holds your rack for you. Now you can work with 2 hands down below the rack, and you're not having to hold the piece of strut up while you're building. If you know, you know. We've got a level here. Usually I have 2. This one's a little bit bulky, good for blind people like me. Lighted. Usually I shove one in here. It actually fits, by the way. Okay, my bad. Didn't have 2 levels in here. So, we have 2 levels in here. You gotta have 2 levels if you're gonna bend conduit. Again, if you know, you know. I've got different explanations, demonstrations why you need 2 levels when bending conduit during my lives when I'm bending conduit. But basically this has all the common sizes. It's got the flat magnets. It's got the V-groove in here to sit in the conduit for extra accuracy, I guess is what you would call it. It's got this feature for hydraulic benders, which is known as a no-dog. This is also known as a no-dog. It's basically clamps onto the end of the pipe. Now, if you train your Veto and you work with your Veto often, you will be able to do things like this. Your Veto out of the gate is not going to accept a level in this slot unless you train it. And yes, the screwdriver does fit. And the screwdriver comes out, no problem, and goes back in. I'm not going to BS you guys. Okay, so here we have 2 pairs of Knipex. I've got the, what they call the quick set version, which I don't recommend because you can see the push button is out way further. And for what these things do, like they slide up by themselves, but they don't always slide up. It just depends on how they want to slide up. Once you pop this button up like that, they're no longer going to slide. So once you pop the button up, that's it. And really, I can adjust these with one hand anyway. Wasn't a feature that I needed for a button to be sticking out more for more wear and tear, if you ask me. Also, this does stick up higher. I don't recommend the quick set version of these Two 10-inch Cobras, really all you need for running the most common size pipes. Perfect. Next up, I've got a couple of pliers in here, which is good for kind of any job you might be doing, but not really necessary. The needle nose are definitely necessary. They got the offset, and you do need needle nose for just about any job for fishing wire, things like that, especially residential. These are just that much handier because they have the offset and they are Knipex. Then we got the twin grips, which pretty much grab any bolt or nut or anything like that. They are really useful. Another commenter told me to make up some joints with them because they got that slot in the middle and they help twist wire. And a lot of people like these to knock out boxes and things. They really like them. These are the 8201 200s. These are the Knipex pliers wrench. And yeah, they do actually run conduit really nicely. They tighten all the connectors, even the Steel City kind of slipperier, more rounded over ones. These actually work on, and they do pretty good. Not as good as the Knipex Cobras here, but good enough to where if you wanted one of these and one of these, you could absolutely do it. These two sets are almost invaluable in the industrial world if you run a lot of racks, even commercial. You run a bunch of racks, you run a bunch of conduit, whatever you're doing. This side here has all the sizes for the hardware you could ever want. So we got the 5/8. What is 5/8 good for electrical? Almost nothing, but a 13.5/8 actually fits the larger squares on your beam clamps. So if you got the big beam clamps that are about like that big, start at 3/8, go all the way up to 1/2 inch, right? You know the ones? 13.5/8 sits on those, and because the back side is smaller than the front, it literally sits on the bolt head and can't fall down. So like, let me put it into perspective for you. Like, see how like that sits on there, like sits on the head, and then it wrenches. So you can't fall off of the beam clamp. You can't go all the way through like this. This thing actually just sits on the bolt, which is really nice when you're doing a bunch of them and you can get them really tight. And I love this wrench, man. It's a really good wrench. This comes in a set with this one. This is the pretty much ultimate tool here. Bunch of people make different ones. This is the Husky gear wrench, makes a better one. And honestly, I think Craftsman makes a better one yet. And that's because these actually act like sockets as they protrude off. The Craftsman has the most protrusion out. Acts like a free socket, basically. You got all your most common sizes here. Klein effed this up beyond belief. And the most common sizes are not on one tool. They're on a combination of two, so you have to carry both. You really only need this one if you're running smaller pipe, less than 1.25 inches. Big letdown on that. Got some extensions here, got some bits, different things like that. Racketeers is always good. The difference with Racketeers is that their bits are parallel shaped, so they fit on fasteners that much better. They're really made for terminating. They're made for electricians, and yeah, they have color coding. Easy to identify what they are. There you go. This one's double-sided, which is pretty cool. Number 2 and number 1, and they're parallel. Then we've got some extensions here. This one is a quick insert. Check this out. It's pretty cool. So that's the DeWalt one, very low profile. Whatever hole size you drill here is all you need, baby. You drill that hole, nothing flares out. See how this flares out bigger? This one stays true to the size of the actual bit holder, which is pretty cool. This one's also a quick insert. This one's in Milwaukee and is surprisingly nice. I did a separate video on all these. Really, really nice additions to the tool world coming out today. Also worth mentioning, hard to lose your bit if you're pushing through a wall, and to push it forward is how you lose your bit. But when you pull it out of the wall, make sure you don't catch the other side of the hole you just drilled, because you can lose your bit, but this has a really nice magnet. But the fact that this thing pulls down, you might wind up losing your bit, whereas this one doesn't pull back like this. It only pushes back like this. So this is probably more of a W, and historically DeWalt's always made better accessories than almost anybody. It's one reason why I started going to Lowe's, one reason why I continue to go to Lowe's. I think you can find this at Home Depot though. Hollow shank impact rated 9/16, perfect for all thread, made by Klein. They make a longer one. This is perfect. You need more, cut it off and keep trucking. This is great. Great tool. Even has a magnet built in. Awesome tool. It is the PND 9165. 9165. PND 9165 has a hex on the back in case you want to put your 9/16. Is that a 1/2 inch? Oh, dude, that's even more of a W. It fits on this. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So this doesn't fall through because it's a smaller size. So it's wrenches like this that just change the whole game, right? Because we're not sliding down constantly. Awesome. We don't have a stubby because we've got a 90-degree driver. This one works really well. And yeah, it's in there. What pencils do you get? These were cheap. They are the high booms. Comes with the lead. The sharpener's in the back, right here. In the back. Sharpens really sharp. No problems with this. Shaft is metal, so it protects your lead. And yeah, this is for marking on darker materials. Oily materials too. This will stand out on. One of the best NCVs ever made, I believe. This thing doesn't really go off on static like a lot of them do. Gets purple when you find the voltage, red when you're close, and blue when there's voltage present. Pretty cool. Little, I think it's 70 lumen light. Not too bad for finding your stuff. Kind of multi-purpose. Really, really simple. Really reliable. I've had one of these since 2010. So, not this one, but one of them. Still trucking. But yeah, good tools. This is the LVD2 from Fluke. Got two pairs of strippers here. These act as needle nose. They cut MC really nicely. They shear just about anything actually very nicely. They strip beautifully. They cut the screw. They do a lot. I broke off the little tab here to increase the chance of me not catching it by an accident, because sometimes when you're stripping wire, this thing gets stuck up there. And I'd recommend you bust yours off too. They also kind of have a gimmicky reaming feature here. But yeah, they're actually pretty decent. One of the best Milwaukee tools that I have found. And I actually use it. What should you get though? Probably the Crocs, because these things go up to number 8. They don't care whether you are on the left side or the right side. A lot of your strippers will depend on which side you flip to, will be whether it's solid or stranded. These don't care. And they shear nicely. They're stamped set. It's the way to go. They cut the screws. They needle nose nicely. They're lightweight. They're small. They're always with you in your pocket flat. And they last for 3 or 4 years tops. And then you just go buy another one. Who cares? You don't need all this new forged BS. This will cut just about anything you want to. I think up to 1/0. And pretty nice. Fairly new from Klein. J63215s, like they're a fraction of the cost of the step cutters from Weehaw. I'm always trying to find you guys a better deal, and I don't believe in the step cutters just yet. I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like it's going to leave you a clean cut if you're having to cut off half of it to cut off the rest of it. That's my thought. And then also, it's not going to leave you a cut anyway. Like, you don't terminate with step cutters. You cut wire in half and you walk away, and then you go cut it to the proper length when you need it. Same with these. These are just going to pinch the cable. It's not going to be a good termination. You should use a proper tool for the proper job when wire gets that big. That's my thought on that. So this will cut what you want enough to get it to where you're going, and then you use a proper tool for the job. Please, please, please. Another reason why I don't want to buy the step cutters. They're very expensive, and they're not the final tool I'm going to use. This is new to the channel. Brand new. Never before seen on this channel. I've never seen these before until 3 days ago. I've had the original version of this. It's gray. It works really good. You squeeze the trigger here. This is the trigger. Blade pops out. What's new on this one? You have to push this button in to keep the blade out. Push this button, blade retracts. You can use it as a safety knife very quickly. And then as soon as you let go, blade comes in. I kind of like it. I don't know about the longevity. The other one had quirks. It was very fidgety, but it worked well. Eventually, what happens is the portion that grabs the blade shears off on the original design. That's okay though, because I freaking love this knife. You get a lot of real estate, you get a lot of areas to push. It's a really, really safe knife. You kind of got a bump to stop you from sliding forward. You strip a lot of cable and stuff. This is a really, really nice, safe, hand stay back here kind of knife. You don't slip. It's got the most grip. I don't care that it's fidgety and sometimes the blade pops out, sometimes the blade doesn't. That was on the original design. This is the newer design. It's orange. It's on Amazon. It's like $10, $12, and I'm really happy to try it out. What's cool about this, you can, so let's show you. Pull the blade out, right? Yeah, so you just gotta push that in a little harder and then watch it actuate. So it's gonna slide back. Now, this has a little spring in the back of it to keep these blades against there, so I'm just gonna push this one forward. Grabs the next blade, lock it, and it's like nothing ever happened. Put the new blades in. You've always got a sharp blade. A dull blade is less safe than a sharp blade. Pushing harder than you need to. So that's my thought on that. It's called the Trades Pro from All Trade. Really excited to try this out on the channel. If it fails, and it might, we'll go back to the fastback. But look, no blade. Always get fastback with storage. That way you never don't have a blade. That's a good sentence too. Am I going to edit them out? Probably not, baby, because this is a real deal. We don't edit out and BS you, man. I said it. We're going to own it. So fastback here, original design. Original idea of the design. They've kind of perfected the design as they go on, but they're kind of the original to do this, and they're good at what they do. Works really well. Pocket clip doesn't mar your jeans, doesn't tear them up. Works really well, lightweight, and no complaints. No screwdriver, no stupid crap on this thing. No extra nonsense. It does what it does well. Cuts the string when you need it to, and does knife things when you need it to knife. Pretty simple. Then, just like I mentioned before, don't leave your SDS bits with your SDS. It's just going to get borrowed. This is kind of cool, new to the channel, does 1/4 inch. Slides up, does 5/16, has a magnet. Will it hold up? Who knows, but it's really handy. I probably wouldn't use this on an impact. It's good for, you know, when you're installing like TVs and stuff and they come with a BS metric size screws and then you got to go get some BS metric size socket that you only own because you bought it at Harbor Freight. Yeah, perfect. That's what I use it for. There you go. And of course, we got one of the best bit holders ever created. This will get you flat up against ceilings when you're tightening those ceiling fan shrouds like nothing ever will. It'll get you in some really tight spots where you got to put screws. And the magnet on this thing is like unmatched. Like really, really, really impressive magnet on this thing. Seriously powerful. DeWalt makes some of the best accessories, I'm telling you. What's cool about this Veto, it's not just a tape measure clip, it's also a wire stripper holder. And I mean that absolutely. This thing's awesome. Expensive, but very nice. We didn't forget about this. We're not done loading it. So that's basically everything on one side of this. As I recall, the MC barely fits half of that. You can fit a lot more in the MCT for only 50 more bucks. So this just kind of sits here. It's a flashlight. It's a Coast. Works really well. Has a 21700 cell battery. Also can switch out for that kind of AAA insert. So good for emergencies. You always have battery with removable batteries, not relying on a charge. There's your USB-C right there. What's cool about the Coast stuff is that you can zoom it in and out, so you can flare out the brightness of the light, which makes it that much easier to work next to, you know, white surfaces like sheetrock, so you're not blinding yourself. And it's got varying levels of brightness, 2000 lumens. That lights up green. That's a magnet. Pretty cool. In here we've got one of my favorite 12-volt drivers, which is the Surge. It's quiet. It's a little bit heavier than the standard. We've got the compact coming. We're reviewing that soon. But it's hard to beat this thing. It really is. It's got plenty of power. It's nice and quiet. Feels really good driving. Fairly compact. And just a joy to use. We got the wobble. If you're in service, you know absolutely what this thing is, man. It'll, by the time that you get this and you get a bit and you get settled, you've already got the receptacle removed. Like, this thing's so good. Double-sided, hard to beat, and 3/16 for trim. They know what they're doing when they made this tool. It's perfect in every way. This is good for energized work. You've got only this much wire sticking out of the box. You can grab it and you can strip it straight on. You're not trying to pull your pliers, the walls here. You're not trying to like just yuck your pliers this way to get the insulation off. You just reach in there, strip the wire, done, pop away, go on it, extend everything out. These go to this screwdriver that you can flip out all the bits that we showed you. This is a magnet, and it's underrated how much of a magnet this thing makes it. Like, look how far back the magnet is here, and it's still holding the weight. Really, really good underrated magnet from Milwaukee, and it's flexible, doesn't mar up your stuff, and really, really nice. Not just for bits, because I would be putting it on one of these too. Then we got the IT450. The biggest trick with this is to attach the ground coming from here, the black, to a known ground source. And I've got videos on how to do that. But you can plug this into a receptacle. You can trace just about anything you want. It's commercial grade. It's a really, really good tester. For 250 bucks, I don't think it can be beat. Then we've got one of the best screwdrivers. The reason why we're lacking so many screwdrivers in here is because this thing is absolutely amazing. This spins freely. This spins freely. Oh, it's just an overall really good experience. Got the bit storage. Quickly switch the bits in and out. Ultimate leverage here. It's almost $90. It's called the Mega Pro Defender. Highly, highly, highly recommend this. Can't beat this thing, I'm convinced. So far, most underrated accessory ever. The Volt Claw pulls wire, manipulates wire, shoves wire, beats wire to the back of boxes into submission. Insulated, and a must in my book. Goes up here in my Veto. This goes right here in my Veto. This is one of the better control screwdrivers. It's 10 bucks. It's the perfect size. So these pop out. You can switch the whole panel out. You can dump it out. You can clean it out. You can put kind of whatever you want in here. Kind of unneeded for me. This is kind of the perfect layout for me, but that is the MCT Tech, the Tech MCT from Veto proPac. With there being so many different styles of these Veto bags, let me help you make a decision. This is the MC. You're going to notice right off the bat that they're very rigid tool bags. There's almost no give to them. And it's almost like carrying on a 5-gallon bucket. But where they put the pockets is really the jam here. So there is no one specific brand that's better than the other at everything. All the different brands make up a really great tool bag. So for example, we got the Knipex here for diagonal cutters, but you might have the lineman here in Klein. You know, we got the Tough Built for the razor knife. One thing we can all agree on is that there's nothing better than the Knipex for channel locks. Let's get into it. Let me show you what this thing can fit in it, and then you guys let me know what you think. Just going to pull all these out so you can see what we have here on the table. Multi-pliers, 4 different screwdrivers. It's important to have a Robertson tip for certain breakers. Two levels fit in here. I have one right now. This is 4-sided wrench. Also acts like sockets because they protrude out from gear wrench. If you're going to have the needle nose, get them without the stripper in the middle. That's all I can say. And it's even got some bit storage here. We got a couple of slots here. Now on the back side of this, it's going to surprise you because you can see how easily we can unzip this with just one hand. We got the drill here, impact driver here. We got room for a bit case, and we got room for a multimeter. And you can always swap out, you know, a different kind of tester or a different toner or something very easily. Went ahead and put both of them in here just so you can see what fits. And of course your tape measure there goes on the front. Huge benefit when you can zip things up. Bottom is waterproof if you're working on a roof. And I've had this one since probably 2016. Wears like iron. You can see where it's got a little bit of wear and tear on it, but all in all it's a really sturdy bag, a really good option. It's not too big and it's not too small. It's just right and fits everything that you want, so you're not really ever fighting anything, trying to get anything in. Even the screwdrivers just kind of pop right in there. But while it is pretty tight, it's also perfect measurements for everything. You see where I'm not trying to fight this up here. Everything stays rigid. Down here they've got a piece of hard plastic, a hard metal here. Down in the bottom of this, you can hear it. And it just keeps the bag's form really nicely. Of course I could add some more, I could take some out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below if I forgot one. If you guys want a review on any one of these tools individually, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.